Hello, it's Saturday the 19th of December. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this evening. Korea's steadily recovering economy, willingness to reform and stable government finances have earned the country an upgrade from credit ratings agency Moody's. Korea's rating is now at a dizzying new height with a stable outlook. Park Ji-won starts us off.
Moody's Investor Service has raised Korea's credit rating from Aa3 to Aa2, meaning it's now at an all-time high. The Aa2 rating is Moody's third highest ranking out of its 21 levels, and it's the first time Korea has ever received a rating within the top 3 notches from a major credit ratings agency. Explaining its upgrade, Moody's said Korea's economic growth and government finances are stable and predictable, and Korea's institutional strength is expected to ensure the implementation of structural reforms. Moody's also praised the Korean government for maintaining a prudent fiscal stance. It said Korea's government debt is expected to remain stable at around 40% of GDP, and the country's proportion of short-term external debt has fallen significantly. Moody's predicted that Korea's credit fundamentals will remain strong over the next 3 to 5 years, but noted that Korea might face challenges due to its rapidly aging society and relatively high exposure to China's economic slowdown. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
Now, it was a daring mission in unforgiving conditions, but a Korean fishing boat has been rescued by the country's icebreaker 1 day after it got stuck in ice in the Antarctic Sea. Korea's maritime ministry says the fishing boat is currently on its way to a safe area. You're looking at a map of where the boat got into trouble. The 62-ton Sun Star sent an SOS call late Friday after a much larger ship failed to pull it out of the heavy ice. The 7,500-ton Korean icebreaker Aa2 successfully freed the stranded ship on Saturday. The Sun Star's 39 crew members, including 7 Korean sailors, are all safe. They have been ordered to evacuate to the larger company vessel, with 5 of the crew staying behind on the Sun Star for maintenance. Now, there may be a glimmer of hope for peace in war-ravaged Syria. The world's major powers have unanimously endorsed a peace plan for the country, but stopped short of addressing the future of President Bashar al-Assad. The roadmap adopted by the UN Security Council calls for a nationwide ceasefire. It also sets out a timetable for UN-supervised elections within 18 months. Now, 4 key measures will be implemented immediately. They are stopping the use of indiscriminate weapons against civilians, allowing unimpeded access for aid convoys, halting attacks on medical and educational facilities, and releasing all detainees. Now, the head of the UN's Seoul office, set up to investigate human rights violations taking place in North Korea, is pondering whether to make a trip to the country herself. In a telephone interview with Radio Free Asia, Signe Poulsen said the most challenging part of her work is that she has to gather and collect information on North Korea's human rights situation outside of North Korea, and that's why she is considering making a visit to the north. But she stressed that any trip would have to be approved by North Korean officials. The UN's office in Seoul opened back in June. Now, people in Beijing are facing yet another suffocating period of toxic air. The latest blanket of smog started smothering the Chinese capital on Saturday morning and is going to last for 4 days. In response, officials declared the city's second smog red alert warning in the space of 2 weeks. Half of the city's cars have been forced off the road. Schools are closed and residents have been advised to stay indoors with doors and windows shut. Barbecue grills and other outdoor smoke sources have been banned and factory production restricted severely. Now, Beijing is forecast to suffer from levels of the deadliest airborne particles at more than 20 times the level that is considered safe by the World Health Organization. The pollution is expected to peak on Tuesday. Now, Korea has rolled out a plan to have 1 million eco-friendly cars on the nation's roads within the next 5 years. As part of those ambitious efforts, starting next year, all newly constructed apartment buildings will be required to have designated parking lots for electric vehicles. Our Park Se-young has the details.
This company's fleet of 29 electric cars are being used for commuting and work activities. These cars are convenient and cost-efficient, but drivers are often hesitant to travel long distances in them.
With the lack of electric charging stations, I think many drivers worry about the car stopping midway.
Korea's Commerce Ministry has unveiled its 5-year plan to popularize the use of eco-friendly cars. The ministry said it will provide over 1 million green cars over 5 years and triple that number by 2025. However, there still remains a lot of work to be done. Currently, there are about 340 electric charging stations in Korea. That's less than 3% of the over 12,000 gas stations nationwide. The Korean government has promised to create an additional 1,000 charging stations within the next 5 years. In addition, apartment buildings being constructed from this point on will be required to provide charging stations and reserve parking lots for the convenience of electric car owners. Starting next year, special license plates for electric vehicles will be introduced to provide discount benefits and to put more small electric cars on the road. However, the government subsidy for electric cars will be reduced by nearly $3,000 to just over $10,000 next year. According to experts, the future of electric cars depend on the development of improved models that can travel over 300 kilometers on a single charge. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, Star Wars: The Force Awakens has hit theatres in the United States with the biggest box office open in history. It beat out the final Harry Potter movie with $57 million on its opening night there. The film is expected to bring in $200 million on its opening weekend in the US, meaning it might break the record set by Jurassic World earlier this year. The Force Awakens also raked in $73 million on its first 2 days on international markets. Industry sources say it might join the exclusive $2 billion club. That said, the massive box office taking looks set to be dwarfed by sales of BB-8 droid toys, lightsabers and so on. Analysts expect Star Wars merchandise will generate some $3 billion in sales this year and over $5 billion in 2016. Now, this winter, there's a great lineup of musical productions out there as well, featuring some of Korea's biggest heartthrobs. A couple of Korean movie stars actually take centre stage in 2 of them. Our Won-jeon has this report.
A tragic love story of a young man who falls in love with a woman who's engaged. This beautiful production is Korea's musical adaptation of an 18th century German novel, The Sorrows of Young Werther. It's also actor Cho Sung-hoon's second time playing the title character Werther in 13 years.
The love portrayed in this musical may seem pure and beautiful, but Werther must experience a tremendous amount of pain in order to win that love.
Here's a classic tale of Dr. Frankenstein, whose obsession to create life ultimately came at a price. The musical version of this English novel has become a sensation here in Korea, sweeping awards in as many as 9 categories. To top it all off, actor Yoo Jun-sang takes center stage at the performance. You can check out the musical production of Frankenstein at the Chungmu Art Hall until February 28th. Won-ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Now, finally, taking a brief look at the weekend weather and slightly beyond, we have another chilly night in store. The overnight low is going to dip to -4 degrees Celsius tonight. Sunday will be partly cloudy across the central region, with the afternoon high in Seoul topping out in the low single digits. And going forward into next week, it's going to be relatively mild in actual fact, and still no snow. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. If you want to see more of the day's news, you can go to our website. You can be found by going to arirang.com/news. And we'll be back again with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Till then, goodbye.